Assalamu alaikum everybody and galab wa and wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Sam and a warm welcome back to another Somali language lesson with me here at Sam of Somali. So today we're not exactly doing a normal Somali lesson like we normally do, like a vocab or a grammar based Somali lesson. What we're doing is a video of tips to give to language learning students in general, but obviously to you guys it's most relevant that you're learning Somali. And if any of you are interested in the Arabic language equivalent of this video, then hit up the Arabic with Sam channel. I'll try to leave a link to it up here. If not, I'll just put it in the description below. You can just go and click on the link. The YouTube channel Arabic with Sam, and there's a similar kind of, vocab learning video specifically for learning Arabic, where there's some of the similar tips in there that are coming up in this video. So tip number one, and this is kind of like a superpower for whatever you want to achieve in life really. Number one is consistency. So even those of you guys who hit the gym or you're training in anything, whether it be something academic or you're learning something or or something physical, you're trying to achieve physical goals or, weight goals or diet goals or whatever other goals there are. Consistency is like a superpower in all of these, and especially for learning Arabic, like little and often is so much more valuable than dedicating 3 hours a week to something. Like it's so much more valuable to do 20 minutes a day than it is to do like a 5-hour session one day a week, because this consistency, you're waking up every morning and committing to learning a certain amount every day, that is like, that'll make such a big difference over time to your Somali language learning. So how do we do that? The best way to achieve consistency in my experience is to find something that you already do consistently every day and tie in your vocabulary learning to that. So what I do in my Arabic language videos, what I do is I suggest something that you do every day. Like for me personally, when I was learning vocabulary at university for my Arabic language degree, sometimes we would have to learn a few hundred words a week, sometimes, or at least 100 words a week would sometimes have to learn. So we'd have to find ways pretty quick, that worked for us. So the one for me was I always drink coffee in the morning. Like I love coffee and I drink coffee every day. So I got one of these coffee mugs that has a space in there for biscuits, but I put vocab cards in there. So whenever I woke up in the morning and I was sitting and I was just having my coffee in the morning, I'd just have like 12 vocab cards. Like if you were to commit to learning 12 words a day or 8 words a day, or even if those of you guys don't take it particularly seriously, 4 words a day or 5 words a day, that would just kill it in your Somali language learning journey. Like that would just broaden your vocabulary so quickly. So tying in something you do regularly, for me is drinking coffee. Some of you guys it might be driving to work every day. You might want to download a podcast or something. Like if you can find a good podcast for learning Somali, that'd be really good. I mean, I haven't created one yet. I have an Arabic with Sam podcast. But when I looked for Somali language podcasts, it's mostly like Christian missionary stuff, like Somali language preaching and stuff. That's what I found. But if you do find anything good, then please share it. Obviously, I'd like to bring the attention of my audience to it as well, because it's probably really helpful for a lot of you. So the second most important thing, the first one we went over was consistency. The second one is, if it's possible, immersion. So language learning, even in our first language that we learn when we're babies, is because we're immersed in it. We hear it in lots of different ways, and research suggests that you'll only really learn a word of vocabulary that will go into your long-term memory if you hear it in 6 different contexts. So some people have the privilege of being able to hear that organically. When I'm at home and my wife speaks Somali to me, I get to hear that pretty organically, Like she might use the same word in 6 different contexts, or the same phrase in 6 different times or 6 different ways, and I'll learn it in that way. But those of you who don't, it's not the end of the world, because we have the joys of technology these days. So you can expose yourself either to, I wasn't really thinking of this, but if you watch movies and TV and radio and stuff in Somali, but what I was particularly thinking about is artificially just creating it yourself. Like for each word of vocabulary, say you wanted to learn 10 words a day. You had a little vocab list of 10 words. Do 5 or 6 bullet points under each one and just write out a sentence using that word. So you will still encounter it in at least 6 different contexts and read over them a few times. And as I say, this whole process doesn't need to take you any more than 20 minutes a day. It's a half an hour a day. It's not you don't need to commit to any serious hours of time of commitment to learn this stuff. So the last one, the third tip that I want to give you, which I actually didn't mention in my Arabic video, so you'll get this bonus here on this channel, is it's important to understand your own learning type. Like those of you who ever studied teaching or anything like that, you learn about learning styles in and of themselves. You quite often learn there are 3 main learning styles, which are kinesthetic, which means you learning practically using your hands. There's visual, where you seeing colours and posters and things that are visual in front of you, and the other is auditory or audio. So you listening, so you'd be a sort of person who would learn from podcasts and things like that. But actually there's a fourth one as well, which is usually neglected, and that's linear. If you are, because there are some people who are actually linear learners, they do actually learn by just writing stuff out and seeing it in a linear way. I'm not one of those. I don't really know how to read. I'm a dreadful reader and a dreadful writer. So that's not me. Like I'm really, really kinesthetic. Like it's typical of dyslexics like myself to be very kinesthetic or very visual. Yeah, so a piece of advice, if you're a kinesthetic learner and you learn by practically doing things, I'll probably find that actually the process of making flashcards and making these posters for your learning is actually more helpful for your learning than using them. Someone who's a linear learner or an auditory learner would learn through using them, but someone like myself who's a kinesthetic learner, you would actually learn better through the actual process of making them before you've even used them. So I'm trying to think a little bit about what kind of learner you probably are. Like many people who go through school now, like if you're going through school in the year 2000s, then you might even know, you might have even done a test, but before that, if you're born in the 90s like me, you probably had to find that out yourself. So those are kind of the 3 main tips from me, and I hope they're really helpful for you, inshallah. If you have any questions, then please just stick them in the comments and I'll do my very, very best to get back to you. And obviously, as always, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, don't forget to like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.